Be honest. Do you ever talk to yourself? If so, how do you do it? What sort of language do you use? What's the energy like? What's the tone that you use when speaking and referring to you? What type of things do you say to yourself? What type of things do you think about yourself? All of this is a part of the self-talk that's driving and determining how far you're able to go. If other people, maybe your kids, could look at and think about the way you talk to yourself, what would they say about the tone that you're using with you? If you could look back on your life after you've lived it all, would you say that the way you talk to yourself, the way that you thought, the way that you allowed your mind to work and think and operate, would you say it was the best? Did you get the most out of it? If you know that your mind and the way that you think and the way that you talk to you is the most important thing in terms of drivers of action, what are you doing about it? Today I want to talk to you about the idea of just self-talk, the way you talk to you. And talking to you, whether it's verbal or thinking, is critical if you want to find success, if you want to win, if you want to build, if you want to grow, if you want to elevate. The way you talk to yourself, the way you talk about yourself, the way you think about the world and react to things, all of it is related, but you got to be really intentional about making sure that you're operating efficiently, effectively, and in a way that's going to benefit you in the long term. When it comes to the way that you talk to yourself, is it accurate? Is it truthful? Is it kind? Is it lazy? Is it excuse making? Is it holding yourself accountable? Or is it doing whatever it takes to underachieve? Everybody in life doesn't succeed. Everybody in life isn't going to make it to the top. They say it's really lonely. And I don't know if it's lonely or not, but one thing I know is that the thing that's driving the people who get to the top, or the thing that's keeping the people at the bottom, is the way they're talking to themselves, the words they allow to come out of their mouth, because everything all comes back to that mind. You'll often hear us say things like thought precedes action. And basically what that means is the way you think is going to determine everything else that comes about in your life. How are you thinking? What words are you allowing to fester and grow inside of your mind? Consider a person who's always thinking about the negative. This could go wrong. That could go wrong. That's not a person who's about to win. People who are always talking about what's bad, what won't work, they tend to stay in the place where it doesn't work. People who are locked in and grateful and understand that the moment that they have right now is precious, those are the ones who tend to get it. It's not the people who think they got forever that win. It's the people who take advantage of right now. If the present really is a beautiful gift, why don't you treat it that way? Something in your mind is not telling you the right thing, or something in your mind is telling you what it should be doing. You just want to make sure that you're going that right direction. You just want to make sure that whatever direction you're going is the one you chose, and it's the best one in order to get you the way you want to be. You are the architect of your own future. You are the creator of your own destiny. But if you aren't thinking that way, and your mind is constantly coming up with excuses, lies, inaccuracies, things that'll keep you from being your best, how could you ever reach it? When it comes down to it, the words you use with yourself and with others are all related to your mindset. What's going on up here is going to determine everything. But what are you choosing to allow in and out? And what are you taking serious? The way you speak to yourself when you're alone is going to determine the way you speak to yourself with others. The way you treat yourself when you're by yourself is the way you're going to treat others. Can a person really expect to treat others well when they don't treat themselves well? Well, what type of things go on in the mind of a person who constantly treats themselves in the right way? You expect to pour love and light and good energy into your kids and family and whoever else is in your community if you don't first keep that same energy with yourself. How are you talking to you? How are you thinking? How are you processing? How you respond and react to everything all comes down to your mind, your brain. How much training and preparation have you done? When a person has done 1,000,001 reps, when it comes time for game day, it's easy to do. When a person is barely trained and barely done what it takes, they're nervous, they're scared. That's where anxiety comes from. Not preparing, not knowing what's there. And here's the deal. Even in some situations where you are supposed to be afraid, where you should feel a little bit of fear, having the right mindset is going to be everything. In those moments of true fear, when you're able to tell yourself that even though there's something worthy of being afraid of, I'm going to face it and fight it with courage. That's different. But only a person who's constantly trained their minds in the art of resilience and resistance and constantly being able to stand up to what's greater than them, can you achieve it? But only a person who's practiced and trained and taught their mind to be relaxed in a situation of high pressure is going to be able to perform under it. Yeah, you might be able to hit a switch, but 9 times out of 10, The person who has prepared is going to have the advantage. So, what are you doing to make sure that you get that advantage? Another beauty when it comes to self talk and taking action is very few people do it. Very few people understand how to talk to themselves in a way that's going to keep them accountable, that's going to push them to better, that's going to help them be their best, and that's going to help them reach new heights. Very few people are capable of it. And even the ones who are smart enough to come up with that reasoning, oftentimes they arm themselves with excuses because excuses are the ultimate enemy to consistency. Yeah, people who are really smart are really good at making excuses. That's why people who are really smart often don't become anything. That's why, despite the fact that there are people who you know whose intellect is sky high, they only achieve average results. It's because mentally they've decided, I'm going to tell myself something. Mentally, they've created a narrative that's going to keep them from reaching where they should. And it's their choice. A lot of life does tend to happen to us. A lot of times you don't get to choose exactly where you start off. But at a certain point, when you've lived a long and full life, most of us have a chance to create and change our own destiny. But are we aware? It's not like somebody's going to come out and tell you, hey, the way you talk to you is everything. The things you allow into your mind is everything. Not allowing us to influence you is a really good idea. Nobody's going to tell you that. How many are truly aware? There's so many people whose literal goal is to influence you in some way, shape, or form. So if you aren't intentional about influencing yourself first, telling yourself first, this is the way I'll perform, this is the way I'll act, this is the things I'll do, this is what I'll commit to. If you aren't willing to do that, you don't get to reach the top. It's fair. Although it's a very simple thing to understand, it's not the easiest thing to get done. But if you can start to build systems, if you can start to build consistency, if you can start to understand your why, your purpose, and dedicate yourself to something greater, there's no way you won't get it. But the way you talk to yourself is everything. Having a strong why and purpose, that's something you tell yourself constantly. If your mind is constantly telling you, this is the reason why I'm going, this is the reason why I keep pushing, you'll keep going and you'll keep pushing. But if your brain isn't taught and trained to do that on a consistent, you'll stray and you'll wander. You have to be really intentional about telling your mind what to think because there's so many different forces trying to do it for you. How you choose to react to negativity, how you choose to heal in times of stress or pain, how you choose to grow and learn and understand. All of these are a result of the way you've chosen to think, of the way you've chosen to look at the world. Do you look at the world as a student? Are you constantly trying to learn and become better? Or are you a person who feels like, I've already got it? I know what it takes. If you're too good to learn, you're too good to grow. And if you're not growing, if you're not evolving, if you're not getting better, what are you really doing? Do you really have a right to complain about not being at the top if you've only worked like a mediocre person? I don't think so. The people you decide to allow in and out of your life are going to be directly related to what you tell yourself. If you constantly tell yourself that you're full of self worth, that you're amazing, that you're special, that you are that person, you are that one, you're not going to play games with people. You're not going to allow people to mistreat you. And if you are in a position where you can't control that, once you get a chance to leave, you will. Once you get a chance to fly away, you will. But a person who never tells himself the right thing is always going to do the wrong thing. A person who's constantly telling himself what's good is always going to end up where it's right. What are you telling you? Because eventually the way you talk to yourself will also determine the way the world talks to you. Yeah, if you don't treat you good, the world is probably not going to treat you good. If you don't have high expectations for you, why would the world give you something better? If you can't love yourself, how can you love anyone else right? You don't have faith in yourself, how can you have faith in anyone else? At a certain point, you got to understand that the way you talk to you is everything. It's mindset, it's words, it's what you allow to come out. Because even when you're talking to other people, you're hearing everything they are too. So if you're constantly talking doubt and negativity into your life, failure into your life, what's bad into your life, that's what you're hearing and that's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to grow into. And I don't love the word manifest, but it's like you're creating this thing for yourself by constantly saying and pushing it into your life. So stop doing that if that's something you do. And if you are a person who constantly speaks good to yourself, spread it with somebody else. That light is too good to not share with somebody else. That's why we must speak up. That's what the infinite evolution is. Speaking up and sharing, evolving and becoming better, and then sharing what you got with somebody else. Free. When you think about it, there's such a range of voices in this world that you need to be aware of. People who will try to tell you and show you and convince you of literally everything. And some of it is good, some of it is bad, some of the education is right, some of the education will steer you wrong. But what you're telling yourself, your ability to discern, all of it is being determined by what you first chose to tell you. What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that we can be patient before we make a decision on whether or not we'll do this thing or not? Or are you telling yourself, I gotta go right now? Are you telling yourself we're going to use today to the best of our ability? Or are you telling yourself we got a little bit more time? Maybe I'm going to play the game for a minute. What are you telling you? Are you telling yourself that I'm going to seize the day right now and I'm going to ask that person out? Or I'm going to take that risk? Or I'm going to build a little bit? Or I'm going to go to the gym? Or are you telling yourself I got more time? Urgency is a part of the narrative you tell yourself. What are you telling yourself is your life's narrator? What are you telling you? In pressure moments, in moments of fear, in moments of excitement, what you tell yourself is everything. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. In fact, you can only be courageous in the face of fear. But how can you be courageous if you never speak and breathe courage into your life? If every single time you could have taken a risk, you play it safe, you're not going to be courageous in that moment where you need to be brave. You might be able to flip the switch, but who's going to do it better? The person who consistently and constantly showed that when I'm tested, I'm going to stand up to it. But who's going to be better? The person who, when pushed, is constantly pushing back. The person who, when challenged, is constantly up for it, is constantly willing to accept it. Or the person who's always playing it safe, who's always taking the easy road. You don't get to get credit for work you didn't do. You don't get to be people who are working harder than you. And contrary to popular belief, life is a competition on some level. That job only has so many positions. That opportunity only has so much time. Even if you look at it as a competition of you versus you, you're competing with you. How much better are you being for you? How much more are you showing for you? Of all of the people in the universe, you got a chance to be here right now. Are you taking advantage of it? Of all the billions of possibilities of yous that could have existed, you're here, right now. What are you doing to live up to it? And what are you telling yourself about it? Are you looking at it? Is that urgent? Or do you just got forever? Do you just take it for granted? Does every single day that pass, is it not even counting to you? Is it not clicking yet? Or have you decided I'm gonna lock in and be different? Because if you are, it could be contagious. If you are, that courageous could be fire. But what are you doing to spread? What are you telling yourself? And what are you telling others by what you tell yourself? Because whether you know it or not, 80 to 90% of communication is nonverbal. What you do, what you tell yourself, the things that are coming about as a result of what's going on in your mind are everything. So it starts with the seed that you plant up here. But what's that seed looking like? Did you even plant it? Are you continuing to water it with the right nutrients, with the right knowledge, experiences, consistency, discipline? Doing these things once is cool. Doing them over time, over and over when you need to, will turn you into a different person. And it will cause the things that you tell yourself and the way you talk to yourself to be different. The first time you go to the gym is really hard. The fifth time you've gone this week, now it's starting to be a routine. That feels different. You're telling yourself something different. At the end of the week, when you're able to celebrate and relax and look at what you've done, that's a different feeling than telling yourself, I didn't get it again this week. Man, I could have shown up in a better way. But what are you doing? The actions that you take are a result of the words you're telling yourself, the words that you're thinking in your mind. But what are those words looking like? What are you telling yourself? What are you allowing to seep into the crevices of your thoughts? Are you being intentional? When you think about the best among us, what is their mindset like? Are they willing to allow the moment to pass? Are they willing to allow practice and repetition and chances to learn to just slip through their fingers? We know the answer to that. You need to take advantage of the moment, but in order to do that, you got to tell yourself that the moment is important. You need to get the practice, but if you're not telling yourself that practice is as important, if not more important than the game, you'll miss out. When you talk about athletics of all level, there's always somebody who feels like talent alone will get me there. And they always get outperformed by the person who shows up consistently, who's dedicated, who works hard, who practices. Because at a certain point, when talent and everything is close, something is going to push you to make you better. There has to be something different in the person who's always hitting a shot in the fourth quarter. There has to be something different with the person who's always able to hit the game winner. It has to be something in their mind. What are they telling themselves? You're built for this moment. This moment is yours. And even more than you're built for this moment and this moment is yours, you prepared for it. And you actually know it's real because you actually did it. That's different. The people who get to the highest heights are the ones who are able to lock in and tell and believe and follow through with the words they tell themselves. But then think about the reverse side of that. What if what you tell you is never true? What if you're constantly lying to yourself? Well, we know the number one person that we all lie to is us. But what if you could change that dynamic? What if you could believe in you? What if you could start to believe in the things that you say? What could you achieve? What could you accomplish? What could you become? It starts with what you tell yourself. It starts with the way you think. It starts with what's going on in your mind. Once you control that, you control your life. Actions will be preceded by your thoughts. Well, what the hell are you thinking? When it comes to having a standard of excellence, how can you have a standard of excellence if that's not what you tell yourself? If you aren't thinking excellence as far as repetitions, actions as far as practice and learning and educating yourself, becoming better, how can you possibly get that? If you know for a fact that whatever position you're looking for, there's hundreds of thousands of people who want that same one, how can you possibly not work for it? If you know that others are preparing and learning and doing what it takes to achieve those heights, you got to do the same just to stay afloat. Most people are destined to be average. Very few people are destined to get to the top, but also very few people are destined to work. And so this isn't a bad message. It's a really good one. So few people are willing to do the work. If you could just be one of the ones who lock in 70, 80, 60% more time, how much more could you win? So few people are doing it. So few people are telling themselves what's right. And if you don't believe me, just check out that screen time. If your screen time is through the roof, spending time on wasteful things, social media, playing games, doing nothing. If you're doing those things and you're making money off of it, go ahead. But if you're doing those things and you're just scrolling mindlessly, losing time, telling yourself that it's okay, it's because you told yourself it's okay. It's because you didn't tell yourself that this time would be far better used doing something else. It's because you told yourself you had time to spare. You had time to go. You got a little bit more time. It's the weekend. Everybody gets the same 24 hours in a day. If you're not willing to wake up a little bit earlier or stay up a little bit later or work a little bit harder, what are you doing to create an edge? By the way, when you think about the concept of an edge, we don't think of an edge as being a million miles away. It's an edge. Oftentimes, when it comes to competition, getting the job, getting the raise, getting the bonus, getting that growth, whatever it is, we're not talking about massive miles in a small amount of time. We're talking about incremental growth. We're talking about building brick by brick by brick, step by step, and not being confused and not being frustrated and not being upset and being willing to embrace the process, knowing that the process is the most important thing. Do you tell yourself that the process is everything? Or are you only focused on the destination? If you constantly tell yourself that everything is about the destination, you'll miss every single day in between. But if we know for a fact that the process is what makes you great, the process is what separates the winners from the losers, the good from the great, the mediocre from the all time legendary, what's your process looking like? And what are you telling yourself about the process? Process is day to day, it's small moment, it's minutes, it's seconds, it's hours, it's daily building, it's consistency. And it's what most people can't do. But if you could be one of the ones who do it, you could win. What does a person who is at peace tell themselves? What does a person who's stressed tell themselves? What does a person who's afraid tell themselves? What does a person who is confident tell themselves? What does a person who's brilliant tell themselves? It's not by accident. People are going out and doing things by intention. Sometimes we do get a little bit of luck. Sometimes we do get a bit of chance. But in addition to that luck and chance, you got to be prepared. You got to be telling yourself that in the small moments, I'm a win. You got to be telling yourself that you're worthy of the best. You got to be telling yourself that you're going to hold yourself to the highest standards. That accountability is just something you do and you'll get it. When you think about the way that all of us react differently to different situations, it's because of what we're telling ourselves. It's because of what's going on in our mind. But what exactly are you telling you? How different are you from the rest? If you think like most people, lazy, distracted, confused, divided, fearful, you're probably going to get the same results. But if you're confident, if you're courageous, if you're dedicated, if you're disciplined, already you're hearing things that most people are. You'll be able to create that last thing, which is called faith. And you'll be able to build in a way that other people can't even dream of doing. Very few people get to reach that level, but you will because of what you're telling yourself. So start it right now. Start by telling yourself that you're going to do what it takes to achieve the things you want. You're going to take advantage of the present. in whatever way it is, and you're not going to make excuses. Excuses are the enemy. Excuses are the kryptonite to consistency. Excuses are the kryptonite to your goals. Excuses are the kryptonite to your success, because with each and every excuse, you get a little bit further from where you want to be. You lose a little bit more time. You lose a little bit more energy. You lose a little bit more of who you should be. And we can't get those moments back. So make sure you're winning them. You are being anchored by a voice, your voice. But what are you telling yourself? How intentional have you been about making sure that you craft a voice that's strong and courageous, and it's going to lead you to that promised land of where you want to be? It's going to be okay. I can do this. Let's keep going a little bit more. We're going to get it. You're all right. I love you. Let's keep going. Try a little bit more. Whatever you tell yourself, you're going to get. You can't do it. You're not enough. You can't get it. There's no chance. It's not going to happen. No way. Take some time off. Relax. Rest. Do nothing. You can play the game. It's all right. There'll be another chance. You might see him again. Maybe next time. What you tell yourself is going to determine your outcome. The best part about this all is that you get to decide. I love so much that we get this thing called free will. And for the most part, each and every one of us gets to decide. The way we think determines our actions. Our actions determine our outcomes. Our outcomes eventually determine our destiny. And all of it is set up by you and the way you think. It may start with a tiny seed, but what sort of seed are you planting? Every seed doesn't bear the same fruit. So which type of seeds are you planting in the garden of your life? Could it be seeds of doubt or seeds of confidence? Seeds of worry or seeds of preparation? Seeds of anxiety or seeds of love and dedication? Either way, you get to decide. In all cases, you are the architect. What are you building? It's free to choose. And you got to choose every single day. And that's the other thing about it. Whether you want to choose or not, whether you want to take on the mantle of deciding your fate or not, somebody is choosing it. Do you really want to allow somebody else to do it for you? I would say no. So the first step is knowing that your voice is the most important in your life. You are going to be with you from now until the entirety of your being. So what you tell you is the most important. The way you react to things, the way you're able to listen and be patient and be calm and understanding, or the way you get angry, or the way you get frustrated, the way you lose the ability to focus is all up to what you tell yourself. If you know that you have shortcomings in certain areas, you can tell yourself, I'm going to get better. And then you can dedicate yourself to doing that. But if you aren't even willing to learn, how can you get better? Find love, or will you seek danger? Will you find peace, or will you find restlessness? Will you find courage, or will you find fear? Will you stumble upon a life of mediocrity, or will you fight and claw and scratch your way to the top and become as great as you possibly can? Whatever you tell yourself is going to determine that. And I hope for all of you that you get to become your best. What you think and tell yourself is going to determine how far you go. Nobody can change it but you. Are you okay with procrastination? When you fail, what do you tell yourself? What do you feel about procrastination? If you're good with losing and wasting time, you're going to be good with losing and wasting time. What do you tell yourself when you win and find success? What do you tell yourself when you lose? If you're willing to go back to the drawing board and repeat and love the process, you'll constantly win. If the result or outcome is the only thing you're focused on, you'll be up and down. Some moments you might win, some moments you might lose. A person can be the best for others if they aren't first the best for themselves. And the way to be the best for yourself is by telling yourself you are the best. You are capable. You are loved. You are worthy of wealth. You are worthy of that future. You are capable of getting it. You have it in you. Whatever the things you need to tell yourself in order to get to that place, you got to start by telling yourself. None of us get to have a life of luxury and wealth and brilliance and amazingness if we aren't first speaking and teaching that to ourselves. You get to have a life of confidence when you speak confidence into yourself. You get to have a life of confidence when you prepare like a confident person would. So making sure that you tell yourself the value of preparation is what's going to get you there first and foremost. Before you get to 1,000 reps of practice, you first got to tell yourself 1,000 reps of practice is worthy. 1,000 reps of practice is something worthwhile. 1,000 reps of practice is what I'm committed to. 1,000 reps of practice may just be the beginning. 1,000 reps of practice might just be the start, and I need to go to 2,000 reps or whatever it takes. 1,000 reps of practice won't be the end of my journey. It'll be me just getting started. What are you telling yourself about the journey you're going on? How committed are you? How quickly will you quit? Sometimes when we're locked in on a goal, we might have to change the plan up a little bit, but the goal is still intact. If my goal is to become a doctor and there are certain things in my way, I might have to switch things up. I might have to study a little more or find a scholarship here or do whatever it takes to achieve my goal. If my goal is to become a filmmaker or actor or athlete or whatever the case may be, if I want to be that at the highest level, especially knowing that it's competition, what I'm telling myself is going to be everything. And we know for a fact that everybody isn't telling themselves the right thing. Your mind, your thoughts, your words, that internal voice is driving you towards something. It's driving you towards a place. The question is, where exactly is it? How intentional are you being about creating and carving out your own destiny? So many of us will complain about not being where we want to be, but if we don't start off with planting the seed of discipline and mindset and knowing how to think and talk to ourselves in the right way, how are we ever going to execute in the way that we need to? Understanding of how to set goals, organization, so many different things that we aren't telling ourselves. If our minds aren't focused and locked in the right way, we aren't going to get it done. Your mind, your thoughts, that internal voice is either pushing you towards or away from your dreams. The question is, which one are you choosing? Whether you know it or not, you are choosing something. Whether you're intentional or not, you are doing something. Being busy doesn't mean being productive. What are you doing with your time? Being successful doesn't come to those who don't take action. What are you doing with your time? Being successful doesn't come to those who don't take action. What are you doing with your mind? Reaching the top isn't for everybody. In fact, it's for very few. That's why it's called the top. But again, what are the words you're using to narrate your life story? Will you get that ending that you've been hoping for? Or maybe even better? Or will you make excuses and prevent yourself from reaching your ultimate destiny? What a sad, sad shame to block yourself from becoming the best you could be. Imagine how crazy it is to block yourself from becoming the greatest version of you. And the truth is, so many of us do it every single day with every micro decision. Every single time we allow ourselves to cut the corner or to tell the lie or to do the thing that we shouldn't be doing, we get a little bit further from who we should be. We get a little bit further from our destiny. The beauty and the silver lining of this entire message is every single moment you get a chance to tell yourself something new. Every single moment, your mind's computer can hit the reset button and you can start to tell yourself something different. Even if what you tell yourself is, tomorrow we'll do better, next time we'll get it, there won't be a next time. Each and every time you can build and grow, but you gotta tell yourself the right thing. And it starts with you. Nobody else can do it. Nobody else can charge your brain in the right way. What you choose to listen to, even as far as motivation, is up to you. The words I'm saying now go in one ear and out the other and mean nothing to you. Or the words I'm saying now can be used as jet fuel to fly and rocket power to your dreams. It's up to you. Are you intentional about what your mind is saying? Are you intentional about the words that you allow to come out of your mouth? You do realize that the words and things that you say, you hear them too. So whether it's other people or you speaking doubt, you're hearing it one way or another. If you consistently speak doubt and negativity into your life, you hear it too. When you talk to others and you vent to others and you tell others about all of the bad and you're never able to focus on the gratitude, the good, the reason why you're doing it, when that happens, you hear it too. And you start to become a different person. You start to become a person who lives and embodies the very words you said. You become what your words are. We are the very narrators of our own lives. What words are you using to tell your story? I know for me in my life, I want to tell the best story possible. I want to be locked in and consistent. I don't want to leave any crumbs. I don't want to look back on life and say, man, I wish I would have. Or what if I would have? Or if I would have just been a little bit more disciplined. I want to know that I gave it my all. And I want people to look at me and say, that's something I want to be like. What he did, I want to do. In fact, I want to do better. Yeah, I want to inspire people to do even better than what I'm doing. Because if I'm doing good and I'm spreading light and somebody else can do even better, that can only be a good thing. So let's get going. What are you telling you? What are you saying to yourself? What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking? When you talk to yourself, what do you say? What tone do you take? What energy do you give off? How do you treat yourself? Can you treat others well? If you don't treat yourself well, can you talk to others with love and kindness and reverence and respect? If you don't do it for yourself first, can you expect to find someone who treats you in the right way? If you don't do it to yourself first, what are you saying to you? Let's be intentional. Let's be dedicated. Let's be consistent. Let's not make excuses. Let's get it right now. Let's recognize the present for the beautiful gift that it is, and let's use this moment to go out and achieve our dreams. So many won't. So many people are going to waste and neglect this moment. But if you don't, you'll win. Even if you think about it right now, what percentage of people are in the gym? Even if you think about just today, what percentage of people are going to work out? Even if you think about the entire week, what percentage of people are going to mostly get in the workouts and exercise they need to? And you could do the same sort of test with finances and nutrition and spending time with loved ones and writing down those goals and planning and being dedicated to something. So few people are actually willing to put in the work. So if you could just be one of the few who tell yourself, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be better. Eventually what you're going to do is create a ball of momentum. Our next video, we'll be talking about the power of momentum. But how do you create momentum if you don't first think and bring it into life? The greatest, most powerful forces of momentum that you create are going to start in your mind. So let's make sure that the words we use are sharp in a good way, that the way we think is brilliant. Let's make sure that the way we think and the words we use with ourselves are pushing us towards better, are helping us to evolve, are allowing us to grow, are helping us to challenge old beliefs, are helping us to reinforce what works, and are helping to push us towards whatever it is we say that we want. If our actions are preceded by our thoughts, the things that we think and the things that we say are going to determine everything. Let's be really intentional about those. This is the infinite evolution. In simple terms, a lot of what this boils down to is focus. Your ability to focus and get things done is going to be determined by what you tell yourself. But what does your focus look like? And what are you telling yourself about it? What will you allow to go on in and between your two ears? And what does it say about you and what you really want? What will you allow to take place in your life? What are your standards look like? Will it be excellent or will it be average? How will you allow people to treat you? How will you talk to others? All of this is going to determine what's going on between those two ears. Choose wisely, choose consistently, choose yourself first, and choose to tell you what's really good. This is the infinite evolution.